to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast.
Wow, we welcome back. This is the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. This is episode number 39. Boy, do we have a lot on tap for y'all today. I know it seemed like a long time between this week and last week because a lot has come to happen. Although we'll see how much of an impact it has on the day-to-day. But that said, at my side is the 10-Inch-Cowboy. How was your week in the Warzone this week?
Ooh, yeah, it was really rough. Didn't have too many good games. Really sweaty all around. I think I played Rebirth exclusively this week, and Rebirth is even getting really, really sweaty. Just hard to get. I was having games where I wasn't getting any kills, just getting wiped off the map so fast. And it, so, you know, it's one of those weeks. How was your week?
Yeah, I mean, we hopped into it right before recording this, and what the hell was going on there? Like, just clawing with our teeth and nails to even get by. Then at the end, I think we got second place. Kind of, I guess, misplayed that one, but it was crazy situation, craziness going on in the Warzone. If you're at all following the game, then this is no news to you, but we've been previewing it. Season 5 went live this past week. We're now a full week in, but this week, the big thing happening was on August 19th, they had the in-game reveal of the new Call of Duty, which, you know, we've been fucking tracking for months now. It's finally officially official. And that was all coming together, coalescing through this Battle of Verdansk event. Did you take part in that, Cowboy?
I did run it once by myself. Not that it really matters with your squad, because everyone seems to be like playing together. You're just destroying a train. You know, so yes, I did do it. Wasn't there at like the 10:30 release of it? I think I played it the next day. It was what it was. You're shooting a train. You know, I don't know what else is there to say. You're just destroying a train. I don't even know like the Vanguard crossover in this. Do you?
Yeah, that's a doozy of a question, because I think the answer is firmly no. There was no sort of attempt at connecting this to a storyline or universes, any of that. And it's like the Battle of Verdansk, that's a pretty bold statement. Like, that signifies something significant. And what we got, as you've kind of teed up, was the opposite of that. Like, little to zero forethought, I'm sure, went into this. It was like, what can we do? Because last time around, let's take a rewind on the clock back. I think this was around like our second or third ever episode of the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast, was when Call of Duty Black Ops was being revealed. That was called the Know Your History event. And that was pretty thin in terms of what they gave us, but it makes like what we got for this one seem like it was Casablanca in terms of depth. Like, at least then you were like trying to find someone, and it was like, at least, you know, interesting. There was a sense of urgency. Like you said, this one you literally just fucking shooting at a train for 10 minutes with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah, I mean, I also died a large amount of times during that train raid, or whatever you want to call it. I thought that, you know, I don't know why I was so bad at it. I kept getting killed. I guess it was the train is shooting you, the whatever they are, the little guns on top of the train. I was getting killed like all the time. I didn't enjoy it all that much. But you know, I love launching rockets, and I don't know if you get like you're falling with rockets or like you can ground loot rockets. But at one point I had an RPG and I was just teeing off on the thing, and that was actually kind of fun, actually hitting something with a rocket for the first time in a while. But I'm trying to recall how it ends, which I think the train is destroyed. And then all of a sudden there's like a million cluster strikes, right? And you have to get to a point that like you're going to get rescued out, right? That's how that ended. And you're running and there's clusters all around you and you get knocked, but you keep running. But then something happens and like, I don't think you make it, right? You don't make it out.
I didn't make it.
I didn't make it either.
One of our teammates claimed they made it to that little exfil point on the map. I certainly didn't. Yeah, it kind of just fades to black. And then, all right, boom, roll the trailer, which, to their credit, the Call of Duty Vanguard trailer was pretty slick, pretty good. It looks cool. Any kind of initial thoughts on watching that, getting a taste for that World War II era action that we're going to be jumping into?
It does look slick. It looks cool. Again, not sure exactly what's going on, but there certainly is there's something happening. Where that's going to go, I don't know, but it was a long trailer too. I was like watching, I was like, damn, is this a feature film? Like, how long is this thing going to play? I think I ended up walking away from it after a couple of minutes, but yeah, that's my enthusiasm there, but it was well edited and well done.
Wow, really sounds like had Cowboy on the edge of his seat. But yeah, this isn't the Call of Duty Amateur Hour podcast. This is the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. So let's just dive into what this means for Warzone, what everybody really gives a shit about, let's be honest. And that is they came right out of the gate with the two top of the line pieces of news that we've all been dying for fucking like over a year. And that's number one, we're getting a new Warzone map. And number two, we're getting a new anti-cheat system. What are your initial thoughts off of those big bombshells?
I mean, I guess they're bombshells in a way. I think that they have to do this, right? Like for the game, they have to have a new Warzone map, and they have to like try to crack down on the cheating because it's been pretty bad lately. I mean, it's really exciting. Of course, the new Warzone map's going to be great. I hope it's a full map. I hope we're talking about Verdansk, like the size of Verdansk, if not bigger, but for obviously like the Pacific Theater or wherever this is going to be. I think it is the Pacific Theater. And I don't know what an anti-cheat system is, but that sounds cool. That sounds good too. I think I died to some cheaters this week. That's for damn sure. So both of those I will open arms over here. Just come give me a hug. I'm ready for both of them.
All right. Yes, indeed. We've been talking about for what seems like millennia. We've been desperate for these things. Most notably, yeah, the map. Warzone's like been trickling along here, evaporating to some degree. The player base are at firsthand, my friends list, when I used to go on, fucking dozens of people on any given time. Now, today, we're scrapping away trying to find a full quad to hop into Rebirth with. And I think so much of that is the staleness of the map. So yes, bring on the new map. To what you said about size and scale, I think at the minimum, it has to be bigger than Verdansk. Like, if they're doing anything related to that trailer they showed, like that trailer gave a very grand sense of like, wow, this is going to be a massive, crazy battle. They showed like the Pacific, the scenes where everyone was parachuting in later in the trailer was like, wow, this is going to be a huge thing. So I really, really fucking hope they deliver on that.
Yeah, it's just interesting because the mechanic of the games, so that's the tough part, right? Like one of the bummers about a large Verdansk map and playing Warzone is that you are committing a lot of time to one single game, right? And if you're putting in 10, 15 minutes for one round, a larger map, more people, I mean, these could be long games. One of the things I like about Rebirth is that it's so fast paced. You're constantly, you don't have to invest so much into it because you're just like running and gunning and constantly coming back. It's super engaging. You're not like, you know what I mean? It's just, I'm curious. I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if I'm going to like that more if it's a giant map and it takes longer. You know what I mean?
Interesting. And actually, you just posed an interesting point as well, which is they've said new map, but is there going to be like this accompanying thing that we've come to know and love, like this smaller scale kind of sidekick? It's like the little sidecar, like Verdansk or whatever the new maps. That's the main motorcycle. That's the hog or the main driver. But then we got this little sidecar where some of us, we don't want to be the fucking driving crazy. We want to, short-term little experience. So I have to imagine they're listening to the community. They're seeing the positive feedback, and they got to be seeing from the numbers that like Rebirth is insanely popular. I feel like so many streamers are even now pivoting to Rebirth because it's just more fun. It's more entertaining, fast-paced, like you said, smaller, investment, but still a pretty good reward out of it. So eager to hear news about that. So far, hasn't been the case. Another thing of note, though, which is kind of like when you're reading between the lines, like, Tron's always doing here, baby, is they gave a definitive release date for Call of Duty Vanguard. I believe it's November 11th. But in the news about this new stuff, it said new Warzone map coming later this year. They didn't say at launch, which I'm almost 99% positive if this was coming at launch, they would have made that insanely clear. So any thoughts on that?
So you're saying that would it be coming later than November 11th? They can't launch Vanguard and not have a new Warzone map, or is Vanguard like its own standalone game, whatever? And then, but the Vanguard integration is gonna provide the. Yeah, I don't know. That's seems vague. I don't see how they can. They're gonna release Vanguard and not release the new map. Is that what potentially you're saying?
I think so, and I think they didn't make that explicitly clear because they're scared of the blowback, but I think that's going to become, they're going to clarify that. I'm making a prediction here on the Warzone Amateur Hour. Tron statement here.
Laying it out there.
Yeah, laying it out there on the table. We'll see. Hope I'm wrong in this instance, but I mean, again, it's like if they woulda, they coulda type of, that's the wrong phrasing, but you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah. It's like, why wouldn't you, if you're going to be that clear about this, why wouldn't you be that clear about that? And the vagueness is raising flags, which are rightful flags. I mean, they have under-delivered in the past, to put it lightly. So hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, I don't know. That would be, going back to what you were talking about with Rebirth, they can't get rid of Rebirth. If they get rid of Rebirth Island, that would be, I feel like, insanity to me, right? They have to have the sidecar. They have to have that. It's not even about the map necessarily. It's that mechanic on an island. It's like, it's so good. You're constantly coming back. It's got like the oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Resurgence.
No, not resurgence. Sorry. What is the gameplay style that we're playing with? It was like
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, baby. So it's got the Battle Royale component, but obviously it's got this multiplayer feel because you're on a team, you're coming back, and it's like, if they get rid of that, it would be such a disservice to themselves. That would be so sad. I don't even want to think about that. I'm not even gonna let that creep into my mind.
All right, yeah, let's move on. Let's focus on the positive here. We don't want any tears flowing here on the Warzone Amateur Hour, but let's talk about the anti-cheat. You said you're not quite sure. Again, no real details have been delivered, but from my, immersing myself in the world of the gamers, it seems to me like when it comes to quote-unquote anti-cheat, that is like a built-in gameplay detection system where it's actively monitoring every single player, every single game, and there are certain parameters or whatever flags that can go up where it's like instantly banned. It's not something where like, oh, this guy's played 200 games, he's got a 95% headshot thing, let's ban that account. It's like, no, you hit this threshold, they detect some sort of weird blips in the software, glitches in the matrix, and you're fucking out of here. So that's what I think is gonna happen, and that's what I really hope is gonna happen.
Yeah, like if someone has a KD over 20, just get rid of the account instantly. After it's like you would, after a certain amount of games played under an account, if you hit a certain threshold of like headshots, KD, whatever that is, that it's just automatically banned. If you play 50 matches and your KD is over 40, get them out of here.
See, I think it's going to go deeper than that. I'm hopeful that it's like, no, this is the first game they're playing. They got an aimbot and they have, they can detect that it's like altering the source code or there's some weird override going on that's like normal players aren't doing. Again, we're not the game guys. We don't know the back end shit. But I think it's pretty sophisticated stuff. So I hope, this is the number one selling game on consoles. So when it comes to like developing a system like that, it better be fucking top of the line.
Do they have this for other games?
Yeah, like the new Battlefield already announced the patented, I forget the version, but it's already like a known established software. I don't even know if you call it a software or whatever it may be, but it's like, yeah, they're adopting this XYZ anti-cheat for this game. So maybe Warzone, it's like their own patented one, or maybe it's a third party, not sure. Again, not a ton of details out, but we will be bringing those to you as we get them.
Yeah, that's exciting. Imagine if there were no cheaters in this game. Just imagine that. Just imagine it.
Exactly. Like, it's just going to up the experience. It's going to help the amateurs so much. Like, the Sweat Lords might be able to combat that, but we're having enough trouble as it is, baby.
Yeah. I wonder, do you think that cheating is used more by amateurs or Sweat Lords?
I think amateurs, for sure. I think a lot of times, and we tweeted it out last week, an all-time moment happened in the Warzone streaming community. This guy had been being accused of cheating as a Twitch streamer. Everyone's accusing him of cheating. JGod's putting him on blast. He's continually like, no, I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating. So finally there's a clip where somebody's, I don't know if they're on the Discord or what, talking to this guy. They're like, all right, you want to prove you're not cheating? Go ahead, hit Control-Alt-Delete on your computer. And the guy's like, Control-Alt-Delete? Okay. And he hits it. You can go look up the clip on our Twitter page. And then he literally unwittingly reveals this screen that shows all of his options for his hacks. Like, it's pretty remarkable how, like, plain terms they put it. It's like, aimbot, check yes. Like, do you want quote unquote smooth aiming? I learned a lot about cheating, that it's really fucking sophisticated, and there's certain things, like some people will have it where they only aimbot when they ADS, and so he had all these options. He was clearly cheating, totally exposed himself, looked like a total fucking clown.
Total douche, total clown. Get him out of here. People like that should never play the game. That guy should be banned forever. Get him out of here. I don't ever want to see that guy on there. And I'm glad that he was completely humiliated. You know, people that claim that they don't do, it's like, if you're going to do it, be honest about it. You know, it's so upsetting. Get that guy out of here.
But yeah, when he was desperate to kind of show he wasn't cheating, and I guess it turned them off, you could see that the guy was not a good player. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He's like, a lot of times they'll tell people are cheaters too, because they'll have, which I guess this is a point I had on my agenda, but they'll have like the circular mini map. So let's talk about that. Quick side note here, because we've been having people hit us up, Cowboy, saying, hey, Cowboy, I watched your stream. You need to get the fucking square mini map.
Why?
Because it reveals, like, I don't know what it is, 33% more information when you compare the circle to the square. Because you're missing those little corners, baby.
Oh.
So you need to go ahead and make that switch. But yeah, a lot of times the cheaters will have like little things that kind of good players won't have. It'll be like a tell, like, oh, okay, how's this guy so good? He doesn't even know what the fucking right mini map. Anyways, that's an aside. Another interesting thing they revealed here on Vanguard while we're talking about it is they said explicitly Warzone will continue to honor your past gameplay experiences as universal progression is set to continue.
Okay, this is a topic that we have certainly talked about on the pod, and we've pondered this deep question. But that's a helpful answer from them, that they will honor past gameplay experiences. Does that mean that I'm keeping my KD?
I'm 99% sure, yes, that is the case.
Shit. All right, that's fine. Better lobbies for the Cowboy. You know, I haven't checked it in a while. It was so bad for so long. I like to blame it on my girlfriend playing every now and then, but we all know that it's just low because it's low. I was hoping that they'd reset.
Well, I'm curious to see where it's at. I bet it's higher. I'm curious to see. But again, yeah, it's hard to raise those numbers when you just got so many games under your belt. But on top of that, hand in hand with that is that they said when Warzone integrates with Vanguard later, players will be able to create loadouts with Vanguard, Black Ops Cold War, and Modern Warfare weapons.
Well, yeah, obviously. Wait, they said that they just like confirmed that's going to happen? Because that seemed like a no-brainer to me.
Well, I'm honestly a little disappointed by this. Like we've talked to, that's going to be a fucking nightmare in terms of weapon balancing for one. And then in terms of like immersion, like I'm using my little bolt action World War II rifle. Like I don't want to be going up with some guy with the fucking MAC-10. I don't know, man. It's a weird thing to me.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and we have talked about that, and that is odd. Yeah, you're going to be in like the Pacific Theater, you know, like in obviously a World War II style game, and you're whipping out, yeah, like your Milano, and it's like, what? But at the end of the day, they're going to balance it to where, like, you know, the new guns are going to be, you know, hogs. Vanguard, I'm sure their weapons, even though they're going to be more old, and maybe it's more like single fire stuff, less automatic, all that. But the shot value is going to be like each shot landed is probably, or the headshot multiplier, they're going to balance it out. You know, they're going to make it its own thing. I'm sure it's going to be competitive. If they don't balance it, I mean, I guess that's, you know, half of what we talk about on this podcast is the balancing of weapons. So maybe they won't balance it. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I would imagine they do.
Yeah, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I hope so, but it's just more of like a continuity thing. Like, you know, when I was playing Battlefield 1, I'm not a huge fan of the older games, but it was at least cool to be in that world that, you know, you're going up against the same kind of guns and it's that weird, I don't know, man.
What is Battle? I've never played Battlefield. What is like the the plot of Battlefield? What is like is it like futuristic? Is it old school? Like I don't know anything about it.
I played Battlefield 1 a bit. I don't even know if it had a single player. I think that might have been the first one they released without it, but it was set in World War One. So even earlier, it was cool. They had like Zeppelins and shit.
Oh.
You know, the really early tanks, very kind of, you know, boots on the ground. Every map was essentially outdoors. I don't think it had a ton of building play. Some of them were. But it was a wild experience, but that's an aside. You know, speaking of what's it going to be like, what's coming in Vanguard. Well, we're gonna get a taste of it real soon because they announced that the alpha, if you're running on a PlayStation like the Cowboy and the Tron are, you're gonna get a taste of Vanguard as soon as August 27th, which is when the alpha is gonna be going live. I believe it's free. They said you don't need even a PlayStation Plus account to take advantage of that. So
Is it only PlayStation? No Xbox? No PC?
So for the alpha, it's only PlayStation, but they also announced
Ooh, I like it.
there's going to be a beta, which I guess you need to pre-order to get the early access portion. But they said PlayStation exclusive early access is going to be September 10th through the 13th for the beta. So it sounds like you got to pre-order if you want to get in on that. But then there's going to be a cross-play open beta the 16th and 17th. And then the 18th through the 20th. So the 16th and 17th is for Xbox, and it says BattleNet PC Early Access, PlayStation Open Beta, and then open for all platforms from the 18th through the 20th of September.
Got it. But we get the first taste.
We get the first taste. It's going to be limited. There's a brand new game mode. Sounds a little interesting.
That's in a couple of days. We're like, that's right around the corner. That's this week.
Yeah, that'll be 5-6 days from the date of this episode release. The way the alpha is going to work is it's pretty limited. You're only going to be able to play one game mode, which is a brand new game mode they're introducing called Champion Hill. And it says it plays across 4 maps, but essentially it's like a round robin tournament where I think it's like 3v3. It's small teams. You face one team in like a really small arena, and then the winner of that moves on, plays the winner of, you know, the next team, and then you go 2 more rounds or something like that until there's a winner. So it's kind of like a battle royale thing to where you're advancing and it evolves, but it's going to be, little tournaments. They said the environments are destructible, so you can like blast open wood panels to get like a better shot at people. So that's going to be an interesting thing they're introducing. I'm assuming that's going to be coming to Warzone. So if you're out there, you got a PlayStation, hop on this, get a taste for what's going to be coming.
That would be really cool if this new map was destructible. I really like the idea of that, where you could like blow up houses and stuff, or wood, or certain build. I mean, I'm sure that's a developing nightmare, but that would be really cool. I like that.
I agree. I think we've talked about like, where does Warzone need to go to innovate? That's an area right off the bat. Like imagine, you know, let me just paint a picture. Like imagine there's this clock tower, almost like the tower at headquarters on Rebirth. There's some fucking sniper. And you know, though, if you get like a big old fat RPG, you can just rocket that thing, take it down, and then you just know you're cleared that little rat hole.
I love it. Yeah. And then like you could, you know, if you know, say you knew where the circle was going, you did a couple recons and you get there, you could like destroy certain areas in which that, you know, other people coming in would be able to hide. You could clear paths.
Wow.
That would be really, really, really fun. You know, the Cowboy would be rocking a Pila to destroy the map every single round.
Yes, indeed. We got to hope that could bring the explosive weapons more to the forefront, give the amateurs to rock those a little bit more of the spotlight. But that's really all of our news for the Call of Duty Vanguard. Obviously, big news for Warzone. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. But in terms of existing Warzone, some updates happening this week. We previewed the Marshall shotgun pistol, which don't even really know still to this day what it's classified as. But that went live on middle of the week around August 18th. It seems like it's like you predicted, where you bust it open. It's got 2 shotgun shells, 2 rounds. I heard you can even upgrade it and get it with the fire rounds and maybe even go akimbo with the thing. So it sounds like it's devastating up close, but I haven't really seen any gameplay clips from it.
I haven't seen it or come across it at all. Maybe we should equip it this week. I'd like to try that again. Not sure the difference between a shotgun and a pistol. If the pistol is loaded with shotgun shells, maybe somebody can answer that for us. I don't really understand how that works, but 2 shots, 2, in the chamber is never enough for the cowboy. So I'll probably stay away from that gun.
I'm looking at it now too, and it has to be unlocked. And in order to do that in Warzone, you're going to need to get a headshot kill with pistols, I believe, in 15 different matches, completed matches.
Huh. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, so type of a plunder thing. I've been seeing rumors too that the completed matches doesn't apply when you're doing it in plunder. Can't comment on that. Haven't not been chasing a ton of weapon unlocks because I've been pretty happy with where I'm at, but maybe that's going to change. But that was the new introduction into the Warzone. And then, as we previewed, as was promised, on August 16th, they released a weapons tuning update, but it didn't touch any weapons I personally was expecting. What they did is they adjusted the AS Val, the Modern Warfare MP5, the AMP63 pistol, the M19 pistol, only the akimbo version of it, and the Psykov pistols.
What does the akimbo mean? What is that?
That is where you are dual wielding a gun, in this case, pistols.
Oh, got it. I didn't realize akimbo. Okay, akimbo.
Okay, so I've been saying that like 20, 30 times. Didn't know, but now we're clarifying.
Yeah, no, I just, just now asking. I don't really roll pistols, but I wish I did. Interesting. Does this affect you at all? You don't run any of these weapons.
I do not. And in terms of, the too long patch notes, didn't read. J God gave a real succinct summary. He said, essentially, the high-level notes are the AS Val is now worse up close. The Modern Warfare MP5 is worse up close, but better mid to long range. The Psykov AMP and Akimbo M19s are nerfed at all ranges. And I guess I didn't mention, but they also adjusted the Fennec. And he said it's essentially a negligible difference. So those were the updates. I know the pistols had been this weird outlier where they were like extremely high TTKs, but not a lot of people were running them. And I know Jay God had made a few videos showing off those M19 pistols, that they're just absurd when you were dual wielding them. But now they've nerfed those, brought those back down, but that's not all. Then, literally, while I'm in the middle of a fucking Warzone session on August 20th, I get booted from my pregame lobby.
I think we were playing together. I remember that.
Yeah, we were.
We were in a quad, and all of a sudden it got separated and forced us to update. And it was like, wait, what? What was that about?
Yeah, we had been shredding. I think we had 3 straight rebirth wins in that session. My C58, which I told you I've been singing the praises of. I found my voice. I'm leveling it up. I'm getting close to getting to where I need it to be. And then, boom, I find out, no, they just put out a weapons tuning update. And what did that do? That did what I expected the first one to do. So the first gun on the list is the C58. They said, quote unquote, the recoil was increased. Now, you can go online, check out True Game Data. Other guys quantify what that means. But it's jumpier now. And not a ton, but it's jumpier. And then they also nerfed the maximum damage range, the ADS speed, and the bullet velocity. And it was a noticeable change. Like, I immediately was like, what the fuck did they do to this gun?
Yeah, oh man, that sucks. I've been there. You were just starting to invest. You had been dating it. You were about to put a ring on the finger, and then she changed, man.
That is so true. Yeah, then she just...
She dumped you.
Decided she doesn't want to date guys that are named Tron.
Yeah.
So that was the other change. Then the EM2, brand new weapon for Season 5 that we said is pretty OP. They decreased the upper torso multiplier, so I'm not sure if that's had a major effect. And then your beloved Krig. They nerfed the max damage and max damage range on that thing.
Yep. Noticed that. I definitely noticed that. But I switched it up a little bit. I switched it up. And we'll get to that next, maybe, I would imagine.
Yeah, we are. So, that whenever there's these nerfs, these weapons tuning, the question is, well, what do I pivot to? Where can I find the difference makers at when it comes to the ARs? And our beloved True Game Data, the man out there doing the testing, running the numbers, He tested essentially 5 or 6 of the top ARs, as it were. And he found with these new updates, the C58 kind of pretty bumped out of the meta. The Krig, like, especially when it comes to extremity shots and I think chest shots, something like that, pretty fell hard in terms of TTK. But what he found is essentially his advice is the Farah, the old, used to be OP, now it's back up there, and the EM2, he believes those are the 2 meta ARs at the moment.
Exciting. I like that because I have a fully maxed Farah from a few months ago. I feel like when it was, that was one of the guns that I've invested a lot of time into leveling and getting up there. So the Farah coming back around, you know, it's really similar to the Krig, I feel like now. It's like kind of what the Krig was. It may not slap from distance as much as the Krig did like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it's certainly stable. It's one of those low recoil, long range ARs that just like gets the job done. I've got a couple of ground loot EM2s and those things slap pretty hard too. I mean, if I find ground loot of the EM2, I'm definitely rolling with that at this moment. But yeah, not upset about if the Krig were to get dethroned, the Farah getting back in its place is not bad news for the Cowboy. What about you? What any news on the AK-47, your beloved AK-47, which got just, you know, cut down at the kneecaps and has horrible recoil now? Is there any change to that?
Well, that's where this wrinkle comes in, buddy boy. So I took a dive into the comments on that True Game Data video, and the number one comment, which I don't think was pinned, but it was hearted by True Game Data himself, was somebody saying any insight into where the Cold War AK ranks on this list, because that was not included in his TTK chart of testing. And he replied that yes, he's going to be publishing a future video about it. He's been hearing the same. So that gave me enough faith to be like, you know what? Let's get the band back together. Let's give it a try. So today when you and I hopped into the Warzone, I put my old beloved, which never left my list, back to the top as my default loadout. And you heard it here first from Tron, the AK Cold War, that thing is back, baby. It slaps. And, you know, if you're a C58 guy, I think that's really the good pivot kind of back and forth. Because, yes, I wouldn't say the recoil is, like, horrible now, but it's got some jump to it. So I recommend, you know, you stick with pretty much the standard max AR build, but I would run the Liberator barrel. And I found it's hitting... It's like throwing those bricks again. You know, maybe the Farah's for other people, but I'm, you know me, I've always talked about it, baby. That's the Cold War. AK.
You know, the stage 5 clinger that you just can't get away from, just won't leave you alone. You are so obsessed with this weapon, and it is so obsessed with you that you cannot step away from it. If there's even a sliver of hope that this weapon is going to be something, the AK-40, you're just jonesing, you're just dancing in your pants. You just love this weapon so much. I don't know if it's sad or if it's admirable, but it's something.
Well, I'm not alone. A lot of the commenters out there were like, I love the Cold War AK. Yeah, check this out. So you heard it here first. Check it out. Again, yeah, I got that thing leveled up, so I'm back on that beat. Probably sprinkle the Farah in there every now and again just to check that out. But I'm excited about that, sad about the C58. But yeah, again, happy, like you said, if I were to put a metaphor on it from the cinematic world, like it's like the wedding singer, you know, it's like the AK was the one that left me at the altar on my own, and then maybe I tried to pivot over to Drew Barrymore, but then that didn't happen in the real movie. But it'd be like if she just took off to leave, and now I'm back with Linda, I think her name was again. Like
Linda, it was Linda. Nice.
Yeah, dude, I got the punk rock chick, and I'm still doing the fucking bar mitzvahs and stuff for $80 a pop, like she said. But I get the job done. That pays the rent, all right?
So I don't know. You lost me halfway through that, but nice with Linda. Nice remembering that name. I was gonna say Lisa, but it definitely was Linda. Nice.
All right, that's right. There's, you know, you can't count on her skill and information, but you can count on those movie references.
That's right. That's right.
All right, well, let's move it on here. We're going to end this episode with an excellent question we got from a listener and friend of the podcast, Scared of Clowns. Reached out. He shares his continual concern with the health and future of Warzone, and he asked, and I quote, "As two of the highest profile streamers in Warzone, will you two be moving to Apex Legend with the likes of Nick Merckx? Also, how can Warzone win back disgruntled streamers and casuals?"
When he's saying as two of the highest profile streamers in Warzone, is he talking about us?
Yeah, he is.
Wow, that's accurate. He wants to know if we're moving to Apex. I don't even know what Apex is.
I'm with you. Apex Legend, I got respect for the game. I've heard it requires a high level of skill. I know the players that play it are incredibly talented, but it's just not my cup of tea. It's not what I look for in a battle royale. I don't like the pixelated, weird, futuristic shit. Like, I never even got close to touching that one Call of Duty. I think it was Advanced Warfare. It was like the futuristic one where you had like jetpacks and shit. I was like, no. I don't fuck with that. So that's a definitive no from us. We will not be pivoting to that.
Whoa. Wait, you don't speak for both of us.
Well, you just said.
Well, I just don't know. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. So you didn't give an answer. You didn't know what it is, but the door's still open.
I mean, I'm not going to shut any doors. You know, if we got potential sponsorship and, you know, revenue streams coming from this Apex Legends, maybe we'll give it a look. I'm Google imaging, searching it. It definitely has a different feel than Warzone. These characters are a little more over the top, I would say. It's not as grounded, but, you know, it could be something interesting to check out. I don't know what we would call this podcast if we switch to another game, because this is the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. I don't know what we would do, but interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This game, if it's a more skill-based game, if you have to be more skilled to play this game, you could probably count me out. I think that would be accurate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But, you know, he's leaving the door, I guess, maybe not open, but cracked. Not firmly shut.
Yeah. Someone wants to slide some cash under the table, I'll be there.
All right. Well, the question, it touches on some interesting points, which is, yes, some of the highest profiled streamers that formerly streamed Warzone, like almost
Exclusively,
especially, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tap Man, even Dr. Disrespect, like that. He would play a little bit of PUBG to warm up normally, but then that was Warzone all the way for him. Now they're all really even Z-Laner really digging into this Apex Legends game. So we'll see if Vanguard.
Z-Laner is playing Apex?
Yeah, dude, he's grinding that all the time. He's even playing League of Legends, which is like an MMORPG, totally different thing.
Really?
So it's like they're looking for greener pastures here because the crops are drying up in this stale map and this cheater-infested wasteland. So we'll see if, the spring cometh here with Vanguard and it can lure these big old bull cows back to the pastures, but that's yet to be seen.
Some big old bull cows back to the pastures. Yeah, I didn't realize that all those guys had jumped off Warzone. Wow, that's sad. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
and he also said, how can Warzone win back these disgruntled streamers? Exactly what they're doing. They just need to do it sooner. A new Warzone map, new anti-cheat system. I mean, those are two really good steps, right? What else can they do? If there was no cheaters in Warzone and they had a brand new map, I bet every one of these motherfuckers streamers would be back on Warzone checking it out, and people would want to watch them play that,
I'm with you. I think those are two, but I think there is a third component which hasn't been touched on. I guess been rumored, but we got to hold out hope for, would be to initiate or introduce a sort of like ranked playlist system for the guys that want to be hardcore. A lot of these other first person shooter games, I think Apex has it, is like a ranked playlist where you can really grind, earn your stripes, show it off to the rest of the sweat lords. But then you also have like the other playlists for the amateurs out there, the people that are a little bit more casual, they can play that. So I think those three things, would be absolutely enough to lure people back, because as we've said, they've gotten so much right with Warzone. There's just these little things that are wrong that are kind of pushed people away.
Wait, sorry, I was kind of like, as you were speaking, I was zoning out and I was looking at all this Apex imagery that I'm looking at. Are you saying that Apex has multiple like lobby choices where you can play with sweat lords and you can choose to play with worse individuals? Is that a thing?
So I'm gonna go ahead and Google it because I have never even I've never fucking played Apex Legends, but after a quick Google search here, there's a ranked mode. And it's called Ranked Leagues feature in Apex Legends. And what it does, the high-level notes are, it rewards competitive players for the time they invest. They do it through a ranked ladder that shows how you stack up against the rest of the player base. Additionally, you receive in-game rewards at the end of the season based off the rank you achieve.
Ooh.
It ensures the competitive integrity through skill-based matchmaking. No one can really say they're the best of all if they only stomp noobs. So matchmaking in ranked leagues is focused on putting players of similar skill in the same match. You won't always be playing against players of your exact tier. I guess it's like silver, gold, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But they'll be as close as possible for your region and time of day. And they said it creates space at the top of the ladder for the best players to establish a high skill meta without forcing a play style and create a true measure of skill in Apex Legends.
That's, seems like a good thing. I kind of like that because, it keeps, we've talked about this before, that what's happening in Warzone is you have the baseline level of skill has gone through the roof, right? Like if you're even amateurs, I feel like at this point, probably people that listen to this podcast are pretty skilled players. They're not like true amateurs anymore, But this seems like it kind of keeps that true. Like it separates. That seems like a good thing. Like that would be really helpful for Warzone. I'm not sure how that would look in Warzone, but it seems like a good thing. I don't know.
Well, the wheels in the old Tron brain are starting to turn and fit into place, and I'm starting to understand a little more because I had seen Dr. Disrespect and Z-Laner talking about how they're grinding to get to Predator. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but I'm looking at it now and I see the whole tier levels of the ranked league. So the lowest is bronze. Then you got to, get to a certain point, and then you unlock silver, and then you unlock gold, platinum, diamond, and the highest level is Apex Predator. And so the only way to do that is to, so it's based off this RP system. It's like a point system. And they said you get 1 RP for a kill. If you get a top 10, top 5, or top 3, then you get 2 RPs for top 10, 4 RPs for top 5, and 7 RPs for top 3. And if you win a round, you get 12. And so like in order to get to that Apex Predator, you have to amass 1,000 RP.
Oh, wow. So yeah, you got to put in some time.
But again, that's what the players that are getting serious, the sweat lords out there, they want them, and God bless them. Like, I think they should have that. Again, get them the fuck out of my lobby. They can chase those ranks. I am cool being like the peon, no-name guy,
Yeah, I know. We host a podcast called the Warzone Amateur Hour, dude. I know. I get it big time.
That's right. All right. Well, speaking of Amateur Hour content, as we've touched on, not to make excuses, but things have been a little bit crazy outside of this podcast recording. We've been really trying to stream more. I know this upcoming weekend, Cowboy and I are pretty occupied, but after that, really hoping to set a time on the calendar for our next streaming session, maybe even make it like a weekly thing. So stay tuned for that. Again, we're looking for like feedback about like what's a time for you guys out there if you would potentially watch this, like that would work for you, like a Friday night, a weekend thing, a weekday thing. I don't know. You got any thoughts on that, Cowboy?
It's really hard because the craziest thing about this podcast is there's people all over the world listening. So I don't know if any specific time is going to work for everyone. We're not going to be able to, I think we do what works for us, and then we just hope people can tune in. I'm not going to, I don't know what else to do.
Okay, so keep an ear out for that. But that is going to do it for us this week on the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. Thank you all so much for dropping in with us. I got to say, our Discord, the activity's been cranking up. We're getting awesome comments, awesome feedback. We got more discussion points that have been brought to the forefront on the Discord that we're going to be talking about later on in future episodes. Our YouTube subscribers, thank you all so much there. Keep sharing it. We got to keep growing, get the algorithms in our good fortune. I feel like we're on the precipice of pushing through. Now's the time while people are away from Warzone. Let the Amateur Hour media empire blossom. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, you're so right. Good things are coming. Good things are coming.
Good things are coming. Keep the faith. Stay tuned and stay sweaty as you can be. We will talk to you next week. But until then,
good luck in Rebirth. In the Gulag.
Have you played the new Gulag yet?
Have I? No, I haven't. I haven't even dropped into the new. I haven't done it. No.
So we'll talk about that next week. Good luck in the Gulag.